Hey, welcome. Today we are diving into one of the biggest, most mind-bending ideas in all of theology, the Godhead. We're going to build a simple framework, kind of like a divine blueprint, to help us see how three distinct persons can be one God and, most importantly, why that matters to us. Right? It's the kind of thing that can really make your head spin. Three persons, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. And yet, they are one God. It can feel like a contradiction, a real puzzle. So the big question we're exploring today is pretty straightforward. How does this divine relationship actually work? Let's figure it out. All right, here's our game plan. First, we'll look at the big picture, the overall divine architecture. Then, we'll zoom in on the specific roles, the Father as the King, the Son as the Redeemer, and the Spirit as the Bringer. And finally, we'll see how it all comes together for one unified purpose. Okay, let's jump right in with our first section, the divine architecture. To make this whole idea a little easier to grasp, we're going to use a really powerful metaphor, a kingdom with a grand plan to restore its people. Instead of getting tangled up in complicated theology, let's just think of it as three perfectly coordinated roles. You've got the king, who's the mastermind behind the plan, you've got the redeemer, who's on the ground making it happen, and then you have the bringer, who makes that plan personal for every single citizen. See? This simple framework helps us see their unique jobs within the grand scheme of things. So let's start at the very top. This brings us to the Father, who acts as the king. He's the ultimate authority, the source of this entire plan for restoration. Within our kingdom metaphor, a really key title for the Father is the Forgiver. And Forgiver here means way more than just being nice. It's all about authority. I mean, think about it. Since he wrote the laws of the kingdom, he is the only one with the legal power to grant a pardon when those laws are broken. So this really lays out his job description. He's the one who establishes the standard of holiness. That's the perfect moral code of the kingdom. Then, out of his own loving nature, he creates the plan to bring back everyone who has fallen short. And then, and this is so crucial, he sends the Son and the Spirit to actually carry out that plan. He is the ultimate source where it all begins. So why do all this? Well, this is where it gets really powerful. This verse, John 3:16, shows us the plan wasn't born out of some cold sense of duty. It came from love. The Father gave his Son. That single act is the ultimate proof of his role as the plan's loving creator. Okay, so the Father has this incredible plan, but who carries it out? That brings us to the Son. If the Father is the king on the throne, the Son is the Redeemer, the one who builds the bridge that connects us back to that throne. Now, a powerful way to think about the Son's role is as the cleaner. You see, in the legal system of this kingdom, sin leaves a stain. It creates a debt that has to be paid. Well, the Son is the one who provides that perfect legal payment, what the Scriptures call a ransom for all, to completely wash away that debt and make the people clean in the King's eyes. So let's break down what that actually means. First, as the King's heir, he has the full legal right to represent the King. Then, his sacrifice is what bridges that massive gap between a perfect God and flawed humanity. He's the one and only mediator. And in doing all of this, he doesn't just show us a path back to the Father. He literally becomes the one and only way. And look, Jesus himself is crystal clear about this. This statement from John 14:6 isn't a suggestion. It's a declaration. He's not saying he's one of the options. He is the only path. It just completely underscores his absolutely vital and singular role in God's plan. All right, so we have the Father, the architect of the plan. We have the Son, the one who builds the bridge. But how do we get across that bridge? How does this amazing plan from long ago become real for us right now? Well, that's where the Spirit comes in, who we can call the bringer or the voice to the people. The main job of the Spirit is to be the voice. And we're not talking about some booming voice from the clouds. No, this is a powerful internal guide. The Spirit takes the King's perfect standard and presses it on our conscience, creating that sting, that feeling when you just know you've messed up. That's conviction. And you can see just how active and personal this role is, right? It starts with that conviction, making us realize we need help. But then he immediately points us to the answer, the Son. And it doesn't even stop there. Once we're made clean, the Spirit actually comes to live inside a believer to change their heart and mind, guiding them into all truth. And this isn't just an idea we came up with. Jesus himself promised this would happen. He says in John 16 that the Spirit is coming for this specific reason, to convict the world, to make us all aware of sin, of God's perfect standard, and of the coming judgment. He's the divine agent who makes it all personal.
Okay, let's pull all these threads together for our final section. We've seen the individual roles in this divine architecture. Now let's see how they work together like a well-oiled machine.
When you lay it out, you see this incredible, seamless process. It all starts with the Father, who dreams up the plan out of pure love. It moves to the Son, who perfectly carries out that plan through his life, death, and resurrection. And it all culminates with the Spirit, who takes that finished work and delivers it right to the human heart. It's a perfect divine synergy.
And that's really the heart of it all. They have different jobs, for sure, but they're all on the same team, working toward the exact same goal. You don't see three different agendas here. You see three distinct persons, each with a unique and essential role, all working in perfect harmony toward one magnificent goal, bringing humanity back to God. So, we've looked at the blueprint, this divine architecture. It's an incredible plan. And that just leaves us with one last, very personal question. If this is how God interacts with the world, what does it mean for you and me to actually live inside of it?